The agenda today is today I'm just going to go through a quick introduction. I'm not going to stick a lot on. I'm not going to concentrate on the deck. I really want to actually get into the demo and demonstrate it for you versus a slide deck. So again, I'm just going to kind of go through project operations, cut some key scenarios, the Dynamics 365 ecosystem, and then I'll get right into the demo. Okay. So with project operations, or by the way, you might hear me say project service, you might hear me say PSA, project operations, because as I don't know if many of you know, but a couple years ago it was actually project service, and it was under the CE umbrella. Now it's project operations under the F&O umbrella. So I kind of go back and forth with my verbiage on how I explain it. So please just be aware of that. But we have found that a lot of times, especially with people who are just using Microsoft for the Microsoft Office project, you could do a Gantt chart, you have your project managers and et cetera, but you couldn't really schedule the resources. So the resource managers had a problem. The account managers were doing stuff, using a CRM system, so they didn't have access to it. They couldn't see all up. Team members, couldn't collab, because now so it was just very disparate systems. So with project operations, it all comes together. It all works together to unify your project-centric business. So, project managers they can look at a project from all up. You have your resource managers who can schedule the resources. You have your account managers, again, can make sure everybody's on the right track. Your partner managers can use the vendor portal to see what projects they're assigned to, what resources are assigned to those tasks, etc. You have all the C-levels that can have all the reporting. You have the finance managers can do the invoicing, and then again, the team managers that can collaborate through Teams, Copilot, etc. So, kind of again, these are all the different things you can do with project service. I am only going to be hitting on the customer engagement side of it. So like the D365 side of it. I'm not going to get into the dual rights. I'm not going to get into the F&O side of it. That is definitely more accounting, focused, because it is F&O. If you are looking for that kind of demo, I can set that up with somebody else on my F&O team, a GBB on the F&O team, who could demo the field service. The F&O version of it. But so what I'm going to concentrate on is the project sales, the project planning, the resource utilization, the team collaboration, time and expense, and the project accounting. Also, I do have the latest and greatest Copilot installed too, so I'm going to show you some cool new features that just came out recently that you can use within a Project Ops Copilot. Okay, so again, under what it can do is you can have multiple contract types. You can do lead to project contracts. You can have project scheduling. You can have interactive Gantts, estimates, resource requests and proposals, deep expense management, approval time entries. Again, this is all that can be done. Again, I could probably do a demo for 3-4 hours and to show all these capabilities that project operations can do, but we don't have that much time. We just have the 1 hour. So I'm going to hit kind of a high level on all of these things, but I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of each one. So key scenarios. Again, visibility, collaboration, and insights across your project-centric business. Again, a lot of the other project operations or project software systems, they don't hit on all of these. I think a lot of times where we excel as Dynamics 365 is, again, that resource managers, the fact that it uses the same scheduling board as field service. It's the same. So project ops was built on top of field service. So again, it allows those resource managers to really see, based on skill, based on time available, what, if they could maybe work something for 2 hours this week and 2 hours next week. Again, having that insight. Again, same thing with the finance managers, to be able to see everything all up, all the projects all up, invoicing, by project, invoicing by customer. And these are all the things that you can do that are easily done within project operations, since it's all sitting on the Microsoft platform, the Dataverse. So again, adapt business experiences with Dynamics 365. You can see down at the bottom left, you have commerce, connected stores, fraud protection, Power Automate, plus you add in the field service, supply chain, marketing, and sales. And then again, you add in the Viva guides and LinkedIn. It can all be worked as one. So again, you have finance plus project ops plus organization. Something I want to also bring up again, since field service, you can see the field service down here at the bottom. A lot of times it's amazing to me that, people don't ask the questions of what happens after the project operations, meaning, let's take one of my clients is Chick-fil-A. And they are big here. It's a fast food restaurant here in the United States. And they are building like over 200 Chick-fil-A's a year. So they were looking at project operations to help them manage that. And from the beginning to end, like pulling the permits, breaking ground, actually doing the build of the franchise. In addition, they need to be installing the grills and the coolers and the POS systems. Well, my question to them was, well, when they do the install of the grill, that is a task under the WBS, but then don't you need to take that a step further and have it installed via a work order? Oh, yeah, we do. So, so it's amazing how a lot of times something project operations can also it can continue into field service. And then I'm like, okay, and they have the problems with that. What's the next level? Oh, then yes, customer service. So, and it's vice versa. When you're talking to somebody with, regarding field service, a lot of times I say, okay, well, you're installing that grill, but what was the starting point? So they're like, oh, yes, we do need project operations. So just know that everything can work together. And, you really want to look at it from a very high level view, and then kind of, again, get down into the, how it will work across the different, again, financial versus operational versus organization. Okay, so let me get out of here and I'm going to start my demo. Give me 1 second. Okay. Now, let me see. Let me move this up. Can everybody see my my demo? Can you see my actual?
We can still see the slides.
Yes. No, you shouldn't be seeing the slides. You should be actually seeing Dynamics 365 project operations.
No, we are not seeing that.
I see demo, Michelle Albright.
Okay, let me stop sharing and reshare. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Let me share again here. Okay, share. How about now?
Yeah, now we can see.
Okay.
The project timeline, yeah.
Perfect, okay. Let me also hide. Okay, so this is a project operation. So, what we're going to go through is I am, typically, I'm starting my day, I'm C-level, and I want to see everything all up. So here you could see is one of the many reports. Now this is an add-in. So in addition to project operations, there's a project accelerator that you can get on GitHub, and that project accelerator will allow you to install. You can see quite a few project operations. These are all the so portfolio, financials, milestones. You will get all these project BI dashboards. So here, I can look at a project timeline. I can expand them all. So you can see, here's a kind of like a little Gantt chart. You can see what's on track, late, overdue. You can see you can expand all of them too. I can actually look at this per a project manager. So I can look at it just looking at, for example, Marcio, and see what's going on with that one particular project that he's the project manager of. You can see again what's going, what's late, what's going on. Okay. The next kind of, I want to show another report is the project resource. So I can say, okay, what's going on with my resources? Are there tasks on par? Are they late? I can look at it by, generic resource, by specific. So actually if you see here, I can come in here and I can say, okay, I just want to see how Bob is doing. So let me look at Bob's. Here we go. There's Bob. And now you can see, I'm just looking at the actual projects that Bob is associated. So you can see he's actually working on 3 different projects right now. So, and you can see what his progress is, etc. And you can again get into just one store, and I can again expand this and look at all the tasks and how far, if he's behind, if he's on track, if he's still to be done. Another great report I want to show is the project task overview. So these are the actual tasks. Again, you can immediately see what's overdue, late, on track, future completed, how many projects I have total. Notice you can also look at this by project manager. I can actually then come in here and just look at it by a specific project. So you can see future tasks, late tasks. So just for this one internal, this one remodel building A. Okay. And the last one I want to show you, hold on, I need to move this out of the way here. The last one I want to show you is the portfolio. So this concept is, again, this is part of the project accelerator that I mentioned that's on GitHub. So what it does is it installs an additional entity for it. So it's one level above a project. So again, kind of if I go back to that example I gave, the Chick-fil-A. So the portfolio would be Chick-fil-A, new franchises, and then each individual store could be a project that rolls up to the portfolio. So you can look at things at like a level above a project. So it could be even maybe like think of IT, an IT installation, but it's like maybe you're doing different departments at different times. You're rolling it out in phases. So the portfolio level could be, again, the IT upgrade, but yet all the departments could be the different individual projects. So you can look at things from a portfolio level. So everything that rolls up to that portfolio. Okay. Any questions on the reporting before I get into one of the projects? No? Okay. So here is one of the projects. So I, as a project manager, can look, by the way, I'm first going to show you one that's a project that's going. It's currently running. There's time against it. It's already resources that have been scheduled. You've done the budgeting. You've done all that. So I just want to show you kind of like all the different aspects. So as a project manager, everything I can look at. So you can see the cost consumption percent. It's 21%. Completed. You could see again, it rolls up to this program. Remember, that's a program. So I said, remember, you have a project in the program, so it rolls up to this program. You can pretty much see everything going on with this right now. Who are the executive sponsors? The status, if it's green, yellow, etc. You can have financials behind it. You can have resource. Here are all my resources. So you could see, by resource, what they're doing, what their start date, what their end date is. If you can expand this and see the actual tasks then that they are associated to. I can come in here and look at my resource assignments, and I can look at this a couple ways. So notice I can look at it by role, or I can look at it by resource. So here it's going to look at it by resource. So I could see quantity, unit, again, and I can look at this by week, by day. I can look at it by resource or by role or by category. And this is probably the one where the project managers probably sit the most. So if I'm a project manager, I want to look at my tasks. So these are all your stages and your tasks. And this is where you see your Gantt charts and whatnot. So you could see that, what all the tasks that are going on, what it was dependent upon. If I scroll over here, you could see, how percentage completed. I can see if it's over, under. You can also see here quickly that, for example, so these two tasks are red because they're overdue. So these tasks have not been done yet. They're overdue. They were supposed to be completed on 5/6, and now it's 5/10. So we've got a problem. So just visually as a project manager, I can immediately see what's going on. Also, if I scroll back over here, you can see certain ones are crossed out, meaning they are completely 100% done. I can look at this from a milestone point of view too. So milestone 1, 2, 3, you can name these, you can color code them, etc. And again, from here, you can see what's delayed. You can see this is actually, it's coming up. So it's, hey, that's why it's yellow. It's due this week. I can look at timelines. So this is where you kind of, again, see your Gantt charts. You can see what's dependent upon another, what's completed, what's going on. And then you can also see charts, and you can see assignments. So in addition to this, I'm going to show, so you have three things, actually: risks, issues, changes, and statuses. So what's nice about this risk is I actually did not create these risks. What I did as part of the new Copilot is once you get your project going, and once you start doing, and you have materials, and you have estimates, and you actually have time against that project, you can come up here to Copilot and say, hey, by the way, do a risk assessment to me. based on this project, based on the tasks I have, based on the things, the time that I put against it thus far, do some risk assessments. And it literally created, so I did not create these. The Copilot created, okay, for a construction, typically we have delay, construction materials. You can see here, it kind of like does a summary for me too. I'm going to go into this. So you can see here, it actually, did, okay, to migrate this risk, project managers. So again, it did all this using Copilot. It looked back on previous projects that were construction and said, okay, these are typical risks we hit. So we have delayed construction material. You can see here we have, for example, weather-related, changes in building regulations, etc. So then you can also track issues. So what issues might I have? So it might be, again, tasks taking too long, issues with the resource. You have changes. So, what changes might affect the project? So cost, change in cost. And then the status kind of shows all of those all rolled up. So you can see these are, it takes the risks, the issues, and the changes. So it's saying, okay, these are the active risks, active issues, etc. And you can also have status reports. Okay. Again, we have, as we're going on, you always have your Copilot to the right-hand side, and we have teams. So if I have an issue with this project, here we go into the collaboration. Like, why isn't this on time? Why is there a risk? So I can actually come out here and start a chat with somebody and say, hey, Beth, why did you enter this, risk? What's going on? What's the status of it? So right within project, I can be collaborating with team members. And those could be team members, mind you, that have nothing to do with this project. They might not be even a resource assigned. They might maybe be on the legal team. So I can reach out to people that aren't even assigned to this project at the time. Okay. The last thing I want to show is, as I'm going, another Copilot feature that's really cool is, as a lot of times project managers have weekly or bi-weekly meetings with not only the customer, but the internal people, all the resources working. So you can actually now do status reports. So I can come in here and say, okay, generate a status report for me internally. So for our internal. So it will literally take all the tasks that have been done. It'll look at the risks. It'll look at the people assigned. It'll look at kind of any notes that were taken on this, and it will create an internal report for you that you can then print out, send an email to, send it kind of to anybody. And so you can see here it's giving like a little summary of when it was started, how much percentage it's been done. It can even go through my financials to show materials versus time versus expenses. Okay. And then down at the bottom, it also shows you by resource. So you could see, Crystal, who's completed all their tasks. So you can see Greta and Bob have completed, Jay has not started. Again, so all of this was created by Copilot, taking all of those, risks, materials, tasks completed, etc. The same kind of report can be done for external. Again, it won't share as many detailed reports, but it will, again, it's nice. It's just, again, a nice feature that's right here under Copilot. So status reports. Okay. Any questions on a project that's already being worked on? No?
If I do have any questions. Hello.
Hi, sorry, I was muted. So there's one question in the chat. The person wants to know the difference between dynamic and then MS project.
You're breaking up really bad. I didn't quite hear the question. I'm sorry.
Okay, let me check. I guess the person is asking. Hello. So I'm sure the person is asking the difference between the MS project, if there's any difference between the MS project and the dynamic project operations, or they are interrelated, or one is built on the other.
Well, so if you notice here, great question. So they work together, meaning if you already had Microsoft project and you already had some WBSs and some projects created, you can import those into project operations. What I'm showing you falls under the Dynamics 365 umbrella or the F&O umbrella. It does, notice if I click on tasks here, notice I see how it really quickly pops up that. So it's actually, you can go back and forth between Microsoft project and project operations. Project operations is think of Microsoft Project on steroids. I mean, because you can't do resource scheduling, you can't do the financials, you can't do the time and expenses. The Copilot features don't work in that. So this is multiple levels above and beyond the Microsoft Project that you get in Office.
Okay, great.
Okay, so I'm going to do a new project real quick, and I'm going to show you again. So I'm just going to show you really quick. So there's a couple things. First and foremost, you can a lot of people will create projects like a project template, and then they'll copy that. So you don't have to do the project. You don't have to do the WBS every single time, because I've seen some people with projects that are like, they have thousands of lines of tasks. So obviously you don't want to create those from scratch every time. So you could actually copy a project and then just kind of change some things around. Or I could do something like this. I'm going to do upgrading Dynamics D365 project operations. I'm going to give it a customer. Let me see. I'm actually not going to give it a customer. Let me do PSA here. And the only other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the start date. Let's say tomorrow, and I'm going to put in a description here. So the reason I'm doing this, because I want to show you again another feature here. So I'm going to, in the description, I'm going to put upgrading the company's current project operations system to Dynamics 365. So I'm going to save this. And then you'll see in a second here, once I save this. So basically I'm just, once I save this, I'm like, okay, I've never done, again, maybe you don't already have a predefined WBS. But what I can do is, if I don't have a predefined WBS, I can come up here to Copilot and say, hey, create a task plan. Create a WBS for me automatically based on, go out there, look at other projects, things out there, in the world where you're upgrading some kind of software. So I'm going to do create task plan. So it's collecting all the data. It's looking at my name, my description, and it's automatically computing all of the tasks that might possibly make up this project. Again, this is not set in stone. You can modify this, you can change it, you can start from scratch, as mentioned, but just know, if you're kind of like working with something from scratch, this is a good starting point. This Copilot will create all those tasks for you. So give it a couple more seconds. Now, what it does not do is it doesn't assign a resource, because it doesn't know, obviously it doesn't know your resources. So, but you can see here in a second, it's automatically creating. See, so generate requirements, interview, key stakeholders, configure project templates, and then from this point I can assign people like a resource role type, etc. Okay.
Yeah. But you can make some edit here. You can edit. You can, if you need some lines are not needed, you can take them out.
100%. So see, right, like if I need to even add a task here, so I can come in here and I could say, okay, make a sub or insert a task above this, and I could create another one saying, another task. I can say, and again, this is it, and this is going to be, or this instead of 2 days, this is actually, this is actually going to be 5 days.
Okay.
So again, you can then say, oh, I don't like this one. I don't need it all. So let me go ahead and actually delete this task. I don't need it. I don't need export. So again, this is just, it's just kind of think of this as a template, just a starting point for you to help you build this. Or you can import it from, you can see open in project here. So again, just different ways of creating your WBSs. Okay. And then where, remember in the one that I just showed you previously, here we don't need, like, for example, so I can add columns because it depends on something, or what's the effort, or what's the start date and the finish date. So you can add, you can see, you can come in here. I can say, oh, I don't care about a quick view, so hide that column, and then again, you can come in here and say, okay, who is it assigned to? To assign somebody, you just click on this task and you can do one of two things. You can either, you can add a generic resource. So saying, I need somebody, like, who knows, let's say this might be a developer. So I can come in here and say, I'm looking for, or a consultant. I'm looking for a consultant for this. role. And it's going to make, so instead of a team member, what kind of role are you looking for? I'm looking for, let's see, IT. I need somebody who has a IT consulting role. Save and continue. And so as I'm doing this, so again, and so you just do that for all your line items. So it's literally putting in there, I need somebody. So again, it's going to go back to look at your resources and to look at all the people who have a role of consultant attached to them, and if they're available when you go to go ahead and start scheduling this. Okay. Any questions before I show you how to actually schedule resources?
So can you touch on more of integrating with teams? I know that you mentioned some teams aspects. Can you integrate with teams proper? Maybe if you can explain that a little bit for us.
Teams, what do you mean? I don't understand.
So what I'm saying is that Dynamic 365, is it possible for you to integrate with Teams? I mean, Teams as an application, Microsoft Teams. Sorry.
Yes. So, I mean, just like, yeah, I mean, I could open up when I was talking about that other one, I could, you can open this up in Teams. But again, depending on licensing and stuff, depends on who can see it or what. I don't think I turned this on here. I'm only seeing the Copilot, but yes, 100% you can view this within Teams. And I believe in a future release of Copilot, you're also gonna be able to ask from Teams. You should be able to ask questions like, show me all of my, if I'm a project manager, show me all my projects that have, let's say, tasks that are due this week, and it can come back and show all that information to you. That's not current. That is on the roadmap for Project Ops.
Okay. No. Okay, great.
Okay. So now I want to do, I want to go ahead and look at another project. So let me go back to projects. So now let's go ahead. I'm going to show you how to book a resource. So let me open up one that's already kind of being worked on here. So let me go ahead and let me look at this and go ahead and edit it. So this is a project that I have started. I've done the WBS. You can see here, and I'll show you in a second. So you can see it starts on, it started. You can see I have it all built out. I have the tasks here. I have all the WBS. I have what it's, what the tasks are dependent upon. You can see they're all generic. I don't people yet. So when I go to resources, there's a couple ways to book somebody. So for example, let me go ahead and soft book. So I can come in here, and if I click on this line item, so you can see I need a plumber from the date of 7/16 to 7/19. So I'm looking for a resource role. So I can actually come in here and say book. And it's going to open up a schedule board. Give it a second here. And it's going out there and looking at everybody who has a plumber role. Let me look at this weekly instead. So it's loaded. So it's showing me these are the 4 people. And you can expand these to see, okay, yep, they're available the whole time. You can see, so I'm looking at this. Okay, so I got Diana, I got Dick, I got Eva, I got Gay Gilmore. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Eva. And I could, again, from here, I can look at some additional information about her. I can right mouse click and I can hard book, soft book, propose. I can edit, I can switch views, looking at, I can see exactly what the tasks are. And for me to go ahead and book her, I can just say book and exit. Okay, so that's one way, like a project manager, if a project manager has authority to go ahead and book resources. A lot of times what happens is the project manager, can suggest, can ask, but they don't have the authority. The resource manager has authority to book. So in that case, what I can do is instead of hard booking a resource, give this a second to hard book Eva here. Another way of booking is I can come in here, let's say for an engineer. I can come in here, instead of a hard booking, I can actually do a suggest or submit a request, meaning I am a project manager. I'm coming in here and saying, hey, I need somebody looking for somebody, with strong, let's see, engineering skills. Okay, so then what happens now at this point is it goes from, let me go ahead and refresh this whole thing here. And you can see, notice we hard booked Eva for plumbing. So you can see her name there instead of a generic resource. But for the engineer, you can see here it was submitted. So then this can go to the resource manager. He or she can look at this, and then that resource manager does the hard booking because they know their team better. They know who's available on engineering team versus the project manager. Okay.
Yeah.
Another way of scheduling, which is really cool, this is something that just came out, this is a new Copilot feature, is here, you can see I'm looking for a designer. So what's unique is they added this new, let me see where it's, let me see. So there's a new feature, it's called Suggest Resources. And what this does is instead of just looking at the resources role, i.e. designer, it will look at the cost. It will look at availability. It will look at the resources that have the skill. So maybe I need a designer, but I need a designer who knows a certain kind of software. So a skill of design software. So when I click when I click that Suggest Resources, it's going to, it's not just looking at the role, it's looking at many other things. And it's going to give it you'll see, it's going to give it like a score here. So here we could see that Greta got a score of 6.8.
Okay.
And so it's scoring. So again, and what that, if you look at here, if you click here for more details, it's telling me that the reason why we gave her a score of 6.8 is because she has 72% experience, she has 100% skill match, 100% availability. This is her cost impact, and here are her previous experience. So, and then I can come in here and actually look at the tasks. Okay, here are tasks. Okay, wow, she did columns install, she did beams install. So yeah, wow, she's great for this. So then I can actually, go ahead and shortlist her, or actually go to the next person with the next skill set. So you can see Clarence is 48. So again, this is new. This is a new scoring system. Great. Again, it's much more intense, again, so not only do you put skills, not only do now your resources have roles, plumber, designer, whatever, they have skills. It looks at the cost, it looks at everything behind the board for, behind the scenes. So this is really great. That just came out.
This is great.
Mm-hmm. And then last thing I want to show you is time and expenses. So how do people put in their time? So there's a couple things, there is a second, if I come in here, you can see under the apps, you can allow people. So if a lot of times they don't want their resources to go into project ops and see all the tasks and see the financials behind it, etc. So there is a project, operations team access, which means that just allows the resources to go and put the time, expenses, material against it, and they don't have access to all the other things, or the detailed project, finances behind the scenes. They just, you just give them that app to enter their time. So, but I'm just going to go ahead and stay in here. So time entry. So let me go ahead and I'm going to act like, so again, I'm going to go ahead and do some time. So I'm going to do some time and expense against a certain project. So I come in here, so I'm going to do new. And, by the way, since I'm logged in as system admin and demoing this, it's allowing me to look up the bookable resource. If you are in that Teams app, it will automatically default to who you're logged in as. So if I'm logged in as Greta doing my time, you can, again, you'll see that. So let me go ahead and do David. Okay. I'm going to say the date is going to be the 14th. It's going to be the 14th of May. I'm putting in my time ahead of time. It was 8 hours I did work. And the project is going to be the building B. Actually, it's going to be building A. What's the task? Again, it's going to look at all the tasks that are assigned. Oh, let me do that. Let me see. Construction. Let me do tasks, David Fonzie, yep. And then what my role was, I was a, architect, okay. And then I hit save and close. And then you could see here, it automatically did my time for this week. I can then continue, if it's that same task, I can continue and do 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours. Again, something else I want to mention is, and then once I'm done with all my time, I can come in here and I can submit it, I can recall it, I can copy a week. Now, I don't know if this is on the project service roadmap. I know on the field service roadmap, and again, remember, project service is kind of built on the same platform. It's not kind of, it is built on the same platform as field service. I know with field service, something that was just released for something that's on the roadmap for Copilot is the ability to go to Copilot up here and say, hi, what are all my tasks assigned to me this week? And can I put my time against it? Like, you can literally say that and it will come back. Copilot will literally come back with, here are the 3 projects you're working on. Hey, hi, Greta, here are the 3 projects you're working on. Here are all the tasks. Did you complete these tasks in full? Yes. And it will automatically do all your time for you. So instead of having to do one by one, project by project, task by task, it will literally automatically fill that out for you for your week. And then you could, like, if you spent 8 hours or if you spent 6 hours on something versus 8, you could modify it still. But again, it will make the life much easier for the people entering their tasks. Again, that's on the roadmap.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. So any questions? Like I said, I could spend hours on this, but I just wanted to do like very high level. I want to show you a project going on, some of the new Copilot features, the dashboards, the reporting. We went through creating a new one from scratch. We went ahead and scheduled some resources against them, and then we put in some time. Are there any questions?
If there are any questions, I mean, there's any question from the.
For now, there's none in the chat, so I'm checking if we sent some on WhatsApp.
Okay.
If any participant has a question, please raise your hand and they will call you to ask.
Michelle, we will appreciate it if maybe, because I know you are doing high level, if you can just, in simple terms, maybe let the audience understand the purpose for the project operations and where it started from. I know that initially we were using Planner and simply Microsoft project. That's what is quite familiar here. So maybe if you can just, let me say, low-level basics, let them understand what the Dynamics 365 operations basically is, and also how we can juxtapose it against the Microsoft project. So
you mean describe, like, go over Microsoft Dynamics 365, but like the overview of it?
Sure.
So as I showed here, so what Dynamics 365 is it's on the Dataverse, meaning it's all shared information. Meaning, when I come back here, when I'm looking at the accounts, if I come back and look at, for example, my projects, and you see these accounts here. So you see my customer is 102 building or store number 100 or fab. That customer, that's an account in Dynamics 365, meaning that it goes across all the apps. So think of everybody, when I say, that's why, we always say one Microsoft, we say, we get to collaborate with everybody, meaning even if I'm a sales guy, I have nothing to do with projects, but I'm selling to Store 100. When I look at Store 100, for example, let me go ahead and edit this. I can see everything going on with that store. So notice if I hyperlink to Store 100, I can not only see I can not only see all the projects for that store, I could see any opportunities for that store. I could see cases for that store. So here you can see this is store, so you can see all the people at that store, the timeline, anything that's been done for that store. You could see, for example, if they have any assets, etc. So you can, again, it just basically it's allowing you to see, and how depending on how you're logged in, depends on what you can see. So if I come back to here, these are all the different kind of applications you can have under Dynamics 365. You can have connected field service, which is IoT alerts. You can have insights, which is on the marketing. You have customer service. Think of the cases, incident types, knowledge base articles. Somebody calls in, emails in, or you can use a Power Virtual Agent a bot to automatically answer your questions. So those are all the customer service apps. You have field service, which I was talking about. So field service is work orders, preventive maintenance. Think of, fixing your HVAC, or like I mentioned earlier, installing a grill. You have a field service mobile app that you can give to your technicians that will allow them again and walk them through all the tasks they need to complete a work order, the knowledge base articles they need to complete that. They have access to guides, actual guides written, that you typically can see on a HoloLens. They also have remote assist, so you can actually kind of think of like dial a friend to help them fix a certain, whatever's wrong or install something. So here we have guides mobile. There's portal management. So there's customer portals. There's vendor portals. There are field service portals that you can show actually as the technicians are, think of like, I don't know if you guys have Uber Eats or any kind of like delivery service there where you can kind of follow, when somebody is on their way to deliver something to you. So same concept, you can see where the technician is. Then we have project, which I just went through, project operations, and then the team module. You have resource scheduling optimization. That is, resource scheduling optimization is when you have work orders and not just one, so you're not scheduling them one by one. Think of a very, very large corporation that has possibly thousands of work orders scheduled a day. Well, you don't want to schedule those one by one. You need a resource scheduling optimization that will look through all the different combinations, all the different skill sets, all the availability. What's most important to you? Is utilization more important to you? Is the traveling more important to you? So you can put all that in, and resource RSO will literally go out there and schedule 1,000 work orders at one time. Then you have what a lot of people know CRM or Dynamics for is sales. So again, you have your leads to your quote to your any sales going on. The sales insights works with LinkedIn, etc. So again, this is all you don't have to have all this, but just know there's a lot of people don't realize there's a lot under the Dynamics 365 umbrella. And then they all work together. They all have Copilot. They all have Teams. They all use SharePoint. They all use Word. They all use Outlook. So an email sent, you can track as emails come back and forth between a customer. You can track that email against a customer, against an opportunity, against a project. So when you go into that timeline, you can truly see everything going on. And remember, security-wise, everything is, again, your salesperson, you can say, okay, this person can only see sales, they can't see, and they can only do read only on the project. So they can see the projects going on for that customer, for that account, but they can't edit it, they can't modify it, they can't delete it, they can't add to it, but they can just see the project. So, and you can shut down also, what these right here, all this to the left. Notice there's projects, we have, resources, sales, settings. All this can be completely configured to where only certain people can get into certain things and see certain data. So all that can be locked down based on security too. Is that a better understanding of dynamics?
Sure. Thank you. Yeah, sure. That's a smart one. Thank you very much for the briefing on that. Very concise and precise. If I don't know if there's any question, if not, won't take much of your time.
Okay.
Michelle, we really appreciate the insights you have given to us, and we are very grateful. The DAG Ghana team really appreciates this particular insight into Dynamic 365 operations.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
I've never presented to Africa before, so it's my first.
Thank you.
Wow.
Happy to be your first. So Fred, there's just one question in the chat. Someone wants to know what the future of MS Project as a sit-alone application is as compared to P4W or project operations.
That always be. They're never going to get rid of MS Project because, a lot of people don't need all of this. Everything I'm showing you, people don't need the whole. People are just fine with, okay, I just need a project. I need to know what my tasks are and who's assigned to it. So as far as a Microsoft and MS Project demo, if you need something more on that level, let me know and I can reach out to our modern work, because that falls under the modern work umbrella, because that falls under the Office umbrella, because that MS Project falls under like with Outlook and Teams and Excel and all that. So that's it's another way to, yes, that's still going to be around, and I'm sure there's a lot of things coming out on the roadmap for that. I can find some links for you. And again, if you're looking for that kind of demo, let me know and I can find a GBB under the modern work umbrella.
Thank you. Thank you for.
Thank you.
Okay,
We have
thank you.
no other questions.
Okay,
thank
you
you.
guys. Have a great afternoon.
You too, and enjoy
You
your
too.
conference.
Oh, yes.
Take care. Sure.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. So thank you very much. So I guess we'll have a small discussion here concerning the DAG team. So this is DAG Ghana, and we're privileged to have Michelle Albright to discuss this with us. But as a group, there are some things we really want to carry out and would like to brief the house. First, I would like to appreciate all those who were able to join today. The DAG Ghana group is a dynamic user group, and straight in Ghana, there are also local groups in various countries. In Africa, we have one in Nigeria, Kenya, and South Africa. In the US, they are scattered across, and I'll just do a short presentation on that and also have a small discussion on how we plan our next topic, and also have an in-person meeting so that at least those in Accra can see each other and meet each other. So I will do a small presentation on that. If there's any question, then we can really take it from there. Let me see if I can share. Am I sharing the right stuff? If you can see my screen, please let me know.
Yes, we can see it. Yeah.
Okay, so we are done with it. I just want to talk a little about the DAG user group. So the DAG user group, it's a bigger group. The main purpose of the group is the full name is Microsoft Dynamics and Power Platform Community, and they are based at regional levels. Regional levels means that at various localities within countries and cities. And normally what we discuss has to do with industry topics, network, and also share ideas. So industry topics, the topics are really concentrated on Microsoft products, basically Microsoft Dynamics and Power Platform. When you say Power Platform, we are talking about the Power BI or the platform group. And the meetups are hosted on the Meetup platform. So if you see that when we share the link, you need to first register on the Meetup platform. And this is hosted by the Dynamic User Group. As I initially said, there are 42 major countries which have joined. In terms of membership, that is close to 10,000 plus members, and we have the various dynamic groups. So we have currently Michelle is in Denver, USA. They are having the Dynacon, which does the Dynamicon Live, which is from tomorrow to 16th of May. And as a member, so far as you're an active and you are part of the leadership and also an active member, at least you also get chances to attend some of this program. This is an annual program, and they change the cities, but normally it's held in the US. So currently they are having that from tomorrow to 16. They also have one that will be a virtual one precisely in November, and we'll also make that one available. So simply when you visit live.dynamics.com, you can register and join the program live online virtually, but you'll have purely a virtual one also in November. But here we sit Ghana. In Ghana, we have currently we have a membership of 249 registered on the Meetup. We have 5 member leadership, and we are still encouraging other people to join the leadership team. So if you are interested, you can link up with, or maybe posting the get in touch with me, or post in the chat, and I'm sure they will be able to guide you on how to be part of the leadership. We have done the Q&A. What I wanted to discuss has to do with our Q2 program. Q3. Basically, we want to have an in-person. We have had two virtual, one with Chemi Okiri, who discussed or talked to us about Copilot and app applications. And this is our second one with Michelle. The Q3 one, we want to have an in-person one, and we want to have a local person who really walk us through any of the Microsoft applications, either on a Power Platform or Dynamic, or even Microsoft that's MS 365. Any of them, we are good to go. So if you have any expertise in all those, you can let us know, and we'll be glad to really invite you to lead us. Just let us know. The date we are looking at It's in July. Yeah. So we want to have the meetup in person in July. Definitely it will be in Accra. And it will be one which will either be, that's the group can decide. So maybe I'll leave it for the group since we have most of the members on now to discuss that. So if I would like you to lead that, since at least you have a fair idea of the meetup we want to, the team meetup we want to have, and also the location. So if we're over to you, if anybody have any suggestion, the person can bring it on board. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. We currently do not have any questions in the chat on WhatsApp, so I'm assuming everybody understood everything. It was a really good session. It was very insightful. I know more about the Dynamics 365 now, and I think I'm going to check out the various software that she mentioned and then figure out what I can use. And I'm sure the rest of us also got something that will be beneficial to us. We'll definitely reach out to Fred Excel Console if we have any issues or need any information. And we encourage everybody to join the DAG platform so that we can all together join future sessions and learn. So thank you to everybody for joining. We are grateful to have you. We look forward to having you again at the next webinar. Have a good afternoon.
My own. So please also know that the next webinar will be an in-person one, and probably to be in Accra. FY is in charge of trying to find a proper venue for us. And definitely for that particular meetup, in quotes, there will be break of bread. So definitely to be more of like after work, more relaxing, to learn from each other, to know each other better.
Yeah. And Fred Calvin is asking how he can join.
Okay, so automatically Calvin is in. If he wants to be part of the leadership, fine. Then we can discuss that. I'll get in touch with Calvin and see how best he can also be part of the leadership. But definitely, so far as you have registered on the meetup group, definitely you're a member. But if you want to be part of the leadership in terms of organizing the program, in terms of bringing people on board, then you are welcome. So definitely, yes, Calvin, I'll get in touch. Or you can give me a call after this and we can discuss that and also see how you can also be part of the leadership. Yeah. Any question?
Thank you.
But do you work so far on the Q3? Do you have any topics in mind? Do you have any location in mind? Have you worked on any?
I have some locations. I think I'll share them with you on WhatsApp. I've not found the perfect one.
Okay.
I have some preferences.
Okay. So then there's okay. Thank you very much. So our next.
I think I'll just call you after this. Yeah, I'll give you a call after.
Okay, that'll be great. So if there's no question, I really appreciate the time, at least on a Sunday afternoon like this, at least to share some knowledge on Dynamic. As you said, Microsoft Dynamics 365 is a very powerful tool, and it's also a new area in its own. So those who are interested in that can also try and explore those areas. If you want to go into that, you can get in touch with us, and we have some contacts. You might not be expert in it, but at least we can link you to people who can also help you to grow your knowledge in that. I don't know whether it's Jeremy, but I know there's a lady who's also into this field. And but if you want to go in that field, yes, we will be able to link you up to learn more. So thank you very much and have a good afternoon. It's 4 p.m. So bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining. See you next month. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.